In today's programme, some people call it the British passion. Most people enjoy taking a chance, risking their money. They call it having a flutter, gambling or betting. But not everyone thinks betting is a good thing. In today's programme, we talk first about the rights and wrongs of gambling. And we visit the races, talking about the possibilities and probabilities of winning and losing. We meet a trainer of racehorses and one of his stable girls and hear their side of the story. Meter Man is quite prepared to have a bit of a flutter. But does he know what he is doing? Everyday English.
I put £10 on the National Lottery every week. I think of it as a kind of investment. I know that one day I'll win, at least enough to cover what I pay. So far, I've won 3 times. Twice I won £10, and last month I won 60. I don't think it's wrong to play the lottery. As I said before, I regard it as an investment. And much of the money goes to charity.
Yes, well done!
To be honest, I know nothing about horses. I just enjoy having a flutter. I don't think it's wrong. There's no harm in it. We've got to have some fun.
Right before imposing.
As a matter of fact, I know a lot about horse racing. I go to as many races as I can. I read all the articles in the newspapers and I follow the results carefully. So when I bet on a horse, I'm very well informed about that horse, his trainer, his rider, and his chances of winning. I don't think it's wrong to gamble, especially if it's part of a wider interest, like mine.
Of course, some people get out of control and then lose all their money. I think that's wrong.
I don't want to say how much money I gamble in an evening, because I don't think it's right to gamble as much as I do. But then, it's part of life, isn't it? I mean, life's a gamble, isn't it? You take me. I'm young, I'm single, no responsibilities for a family or anything. I earn a good salary, can spend it how I like, can't I? Now, someone with a wife and kids, a house and a mortgage and all those other expenses, well, for someone like that, it would not be right to gamble because they have other responsibilities. But you take me, apart from the new Porsche, well, I've got no responsibilities.
Now, here's a helping hand. First, some revision with the simple present tense. We're talking about routines and general rules, plus certain verbs like think and know, which usually take the simple present tense.
I put £10 on the National Lottery every week.
I put £10 on the National Lottery every week.
I think of it as a kind of investment.
I think of it as a kind of investment.
I know that one day I'll win, at least enough to cover what I pay.
I know that one day I will win, at least enough to cover what I pay.
To be honest, I know nothing about horses.
To be honest, I know nothing about horses.
I just enjoy having a flutter.
I just enjoy having a flutter. Having a flutter is a colloquial expression for gambling. Next, talking about right and wrong, with right to and wrong to.
I don't think it's wrong to play the lottery.
I don't think it's wrong to play the lottery.
I don't think it's wrong to gamble.
I don't think it's wrong to gamble.
I don't think it's right to gamble as much as I do.
I don't think it's right to gamble as much as I do.
Well, for someone like that, it would not be right to gamble.
For someone like that, it would not be right to gamble.
I don't gamble because I can't afford to. I don't have enough money left at the end of each month to gamble with. If you have responsibilities, I think it is wrong to take risks with money. I'm responsible for the house. I'm responsible for paying the mortgage each month. And I have other household payments to make. I'm responsible for looking after my family. What would my wife say if I told her I'd lost all the money on a horse that month? Or on a roulette wheel?
66, all the sixes, 66. 5 and 6.
I play bingo every week with my friends. It's a very sociable occasion. I don't see anything wrong with gambling, in moderation. After all, it adds excitement to life, doesn't it?
2 and 7, 27.
My husband does the football pools, and I don't object to that, provided there's enough money for other things. And you never know. One day, he just might win.
And now, a helping hand again. This time, talking about responsibilities.
I'm responsible for the house.
I'm responsible for the house.
I'm responsible for paying the mortgage each month.
I'm responsible for paying the mortgage each month.
I'm responsible for looking after my family.
I'm responsible for looking after my family. Improve your fluency. Here are 2 phrases to improve your fluency. Object to, that means have something against it.
I don't object to that.
I don't object to that. And provided that.
Provided there's enough money for other things.
Provided that there's enough money for other things. And phrasal verbs to increase your fluency. To look after.
I'm responsible for looking after my family.
I'm responsible for looking after my family. Specialised English.
I do enjoy a day at the races. I like betting. Makes it more exciting. If I win on one race, I put more money on the next.
I like going to the races, and I like having a flutter, but I'm quite cautious. If I lose money on 2 races, then I stop betting.
I usually back the favourite. That means I put my money on the favourite. The favourite is the horse that most people think is likely to win the race.
I sometimes back an outsider. A horse is called an outsider if it has little chance of winning the race.
This is the favourite, Roman Real. The odds are 2 to 1. That means if you put £1 on, you will get back £2, if he wins.
Here is an outsider, radical exception. The odds are 20 to 1. That's not difficult to work out. It means that if you put £1 on, you will get £20 back, if he wins.
Here's a helping hand. First, stating a general rule using if clauses and the simple present tense.
If I win on one race, I put more money on the next.
If I win on one race, I put more money on the next.
If I lose money on 2 races, then I stop betting.
If I lose money on 2 races, then I stop betting. Next, talking about certain predictions, something that you are quite sure about. If clauses with simple present and simple future tenses.
That means if you put £1 on, you will get back £2, if he wins.
If you put £1 on, you will get back £2 if he wins.
That if you put £1 on, you will get £20 back, if he wins.
If you put £1 on, you will get £20 back if he wins. And here is another phrasal verb. To work out means to calculate.
The odds are 20 to 1. That's not difficult to work out.
The odds are 20 to 1. That's not difficult to work out.
Have you made up your minds yet?
I haven't decided yet. I may back Fort Knox, or I may back Sooty Turn, or I may back both of them.
And you, George, have you decided?
No, I can't make up my mind. I may put my money on Broughton's Turmoil, or I may go for Twin Creeks. Or I might put my money on Lauren's Gold.
And Irene, what about you? Have you made up your mind?
I'm still working out the odds.
OK, I've made up my mind. I'm going to put £50 on an outsider. This one, Sweet Allegiance. I think he's got a good chance of winning. The odds are 66 to 1. Could you work that out for me?
£50 on at 66 to 1? I think you're mad. Well, if you win, you'll get... That's £3,300. Well, I don't think he'll win.
What would you do with the money if you won?
If I won £3,300, I'd take you all out to dinner tonight.
Ooh.
And with the rest, I'd go on a holiday. Come on, let's place our bets.
Oh, yes.
Talking about possible actions using may. These people are trying to decide which horse to back.
I may back Fort Knox, or I may back Sooty Turn, or I may back both of them.
I may back Fort Knox, or I may back Sooty Turn, or I may back both of them.
I may go for Broughton's Turmoil, or I may go for Twin Creeks.
I may go for Broughton's Turmoil, or I may go for Twin Creeks. You can also use might for a possibility which is more doubtful.
Or I might put my money on Lauren's Gold.
Or I might put my money on Lauren's Gold. And now, talking about a possibility which they don't really think will happen, the second conditional.
What would you do with the money if you won?
What would you do with the money if you won?
If I won £3,300, I'd take you all out to dinner tonight.
If she won £3,300, she would take them all out to dinner.
I'd spend the rest on a holiday.
She'd spend the rest on a holiday.
Come on! Back markers, we believe, still wide open as they come down towards the last furlong. And it's Balance of Power who comes to the front from Talafat in second. Lawrence goes. Come on, Lawrence, go!
Well, it's goodbye to your £50. You should have backed Balance of Power like me.
How much did you win?
£28 for a £4 bet.
I wish I hadn't thrown my £50 away on that pathetic Sweet Allegiance. I wish I'd backed Balance of Power.
Me too. How about you? What did you bet on?
Oh, I just had a small one. Actually, I put £20 on Balance of Power. I won £140. Come on, I'll buy you a drink.
You should have backed Balance of
It's
Power like
easy to talk about your regrets and to say what you wish you had done.
I wish I'd backed Balance of Power.
I wish I had backed Balance of Power.
I wish I hadn't thrown my £50 away on that pathetic Sweet Allegiance.
I wish I hadn't thrown my £50 away on that pathetic Sweet Allegiance. And it's easy to give advice, especially when it is too late, using should have.
You should have backed Balance of Power like me.
You should have backed Balance of Power like me. Well, never mind. Better luck next time. A personal view. Josh Gifford is one of England's most famous trainers of racehorses. At his stables in Sussex, he trains up to 60 thoroughbred horses for the national hunt season. That's the autumn and winter sport when horses race over fences, and it can be a very dangerous sport.
Well, I think most sports there is danger, and I don't think a jockey would enjoy it as much, if that's the right way of saying it. Because most jockeys, when they set off, you know, they would do it for nothing, hoping to, because they enjoy it. They can't wait to get out there. It's the challenge, and it's something that's bred in you.
Josh Gifford knows all about the dangers of jumping over fences. He was the champion jockey 4 times, and he suffered many injuries in his great career.
The worst one I broke my neck. I suppose I was very lucky then. Broke my femur twice, ankle, numerous collarbones and ribs. But it was all in a day's work.
Like most of the stable lads and girls, Mandy Madden always wanted to be a jockey.
I started with horses when I was really young, and I just watched racing on the telly one day when I was about 8 years old, and I just wanted to be a jockey from then on. I just had this thing about speed. I wanted to go as fast as I could, and horses seemed to be the best thing. I just love them. I couldn't be a jockey because my weight went against me to start with. I'm not light enough, so I'm always going to be battling with my weight, and the lads are lighter anyway. Generally speaking, the lads are stronger, better riders. They just get on a horse and ride it, and if it falls, so what? They get back up. The lads have no fear.
This is like a first-class hotel for horses. They get the best of everything. But for the people who work here, it is a tough life.
It is hard. In the winter, it gets very, very cold, especially up on the downs here. The weather's very bitter. It's dark and depressing. But on the good points, when the horses run well, you know, it gives you a boost, and you think, you know, you're really pleased that you've done such a good job looking after them and that they've run well. And when you do get a big winner, then the whole yard, it just seems to lift the whole yard.
Training horses to win races is Josh Gifford's business, and he has trained hundreds of winners. But this horse was special. It returned from serious injury to win Britain's most famous race for jumpers, the Grand National.
Every winner is exciting, whether it's the selling race or the Grand National. But obviously, if you make me pick one out, it is the Grand National, you know, that Aldeniti won. And I mean, it really was a fairy story with him and Bob Champion. I mean, they both were very sick people. I mean, Bob was very, very ill. I mean, I didn't think he would be with us very long.
When Bob Champion, the jockey, was close to death with cancer, he still dreamed of riding Aldeniti in the big race.
And then Nick Emberikos, the owner of Aldeniti, went to see him and rang me up that evening. He says, we've got to put the old horse back in training, which we did do. I told him he was completely crackers. You know, A, Bob will never ride again, and B, Aldeniti will never see a racecourse again. He said, never mind, for Bob's sake we will. and he actually won it, which was absolute fairy story. One of those fairy stories that couldn't happen but did.
Obviously, Josh knows a lot about winners. But does he gamble on the horses?
I don't gamble myself on horses. I'm a gambler by nature because I think you wouldn't be in the game otherwise. You know, if we went to the greyhounds, something I know nothing about, I probably would want to have a bet in every race, or a pack of cards came out. But racing is my business. Number one, I don't think I'd be able to make it pay. Number two is we get a % of all prize money that we win, i.e. first, second and third. I say we, it goes into the kitty, goes into the yard. So I don't see any point in losing it to the bookmakers. I mean, it is a business, and that is the main reason that I don't gamble on horses.
Horse racing may be a business, but it is also a passion for everyone who takes part, because they all love horses.
For me, horses are everything in my life. I couldn't be sat in an office from 9 till 5. I have to be outside in the open and with horses. I love them dearly. It's like, once they get into your blood, it's like a disease. You just never get rid of it. And I just have to be with them. And racehorses are ideal because I love going fast, and to feel the power and that of the horse underneath you when you're doing a piece of canter work is just amazing.
Starting off tonight on your 3-page curtain raiser. First page is green in colour, playing for anyone live for £10. Your first number. 6 and 4, 64. 7, 70. 3 and 1, 31. 6 and 9, 69. 2 and 7, 27.
Morning. Morning.
9, 90.
I'm not a gambling man myself. When a man has responsibilities like me, I mean, I am responsible for looking after my dear Van Molly, aren't I? Then I think it is wrong to gamble. Of course, I am an expert at numbers, and I do have a few spare minutes. Shall I have a game of bingo? Let's toss for it. Heads, I play bingo. Bingo!
5 and 9, 59.
Thank you, my dear. Let's go and play some bingo. Of course, you don't know how to play bingo, do you? Well, it's perfectly straightforward. You have cards with numbers on, and if you get a whole row of numbers, you win. And of course, if you play more cards, you've got more chances of winning.
87, 87. 9 by itself, number 9.
House!
Got a claim on 9. Checking one with Ollie.
Sorry, madam. Checking a claim on the green page, perm number A01419.
That was a good claim there. Winner there receives £100. If you'd like to turn over now to your blue colour page, we'll be playing for anyone line again for £10. Your first number, 3 and 6, 36.
Excuse me. Thanks. Thank you very much.
5 and 7, 57.
Hello, my name's Meter Man.
4 and 9.
How do you do?
49.
My dear sir. Hello. How do you do?
3 and 9, 39. 6 and 5, 65.
Now,
55. All 5.
I am good with numbers. I could use 2 of these. Could I borrow a pen? Would you mind?
4.
Thank you very much.
40. 1 by itself, number 7. 90, 90.
Bingo! Yes! Bingo! I've won! I've won! I've won! Where are you? Yeah. Look.
Sorry, sir. False claim on the red page.
Then still looking at that full house on the red page. 11 all the ones. Number 11. 1 number 10. 2 and 8. 20.
Bingo! Yes! Yes! That time it is definitely a win! Look at this, look at this. Look, that way, that way, that way, and that way.
No and out.
What? What? Frankly, I find this rather boring. It bores the pants off me, if you'll pardon the expression. Bingo isn't like it used to be, you know. And you know whose fault it is? It's his, the caller. The caller isn't up to it. Now, if I could have a go at calling, things would be very different.
Get out.
4 and 7, 47.
Staff announcement. Staff announcement. Telephone call for Sean on line 1.
Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be back in a moment. I'll leave you some music.
Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Now, eyes down for a full house. Number 16, sweet 16 and never been kissed. 2 little ducks, 22. Quack, quack. All the 4s, droopy draws.
Ridiculous. Come on, hurry up.
This is preposterous. Get off! Get off! Look at that. I've lost £10. I wish I'd never come here in the first place. And now I'm skint. Oh. £1 more. I'll win that £10 back. Oh, it's not my lucky day.
Remember to study the grammar and vocabulary in your student's book and to do the exercises. In next week's programme, there's a chance to meet the police. Until then, goodbye.